Hi, guys. It is Thursday, and even though we are out of new content to cover, we are Trucker's Delight. I'm Marie Brownhill, Keith Shovelin, Jason McCammon, and we
Hello.
are going to be going back over the totality of Picard's third and final season. We have thoughts. You know we have thoughts. We have opinions, but y'all knew that already.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, bean footage.
Oh, engage.
So now that we've done the bean footage, the fun part about doing a recap show is that none of us has to do a summary of the plot. So there will be no sword falling or Damoclesing this week.
We just get into the guts.
All right. So where do we want to start? Do we want to start with the beginning, the middle, or the end, or some combination of all of the above?
I guess we'll start at the beginning.
Well, since Jason wasn't here last week, we're sure he is overflowing with opinions on the final episode. So perhaps he should lead us off.
Ooh.
Well, I don't want to redo whatever you did last week. I don't need. Actually, I did watch the show.
But it's
though.
your opinion, so obviously it's going to be untraveled territory. That
First of all,
that untrammeled arch wherein we see the horizon
I'll say
line.
season 3 as a whole, I think, is my favorite season of Picard. I go season 3, season 1, season 2. In my opinion. So I actually enjoyed it. I always have problems with things. That's my thing. That's my problem. Is that I have problems with everything. Are we sure? So I want to be sure. The little demon thing that Vatic was talking to was the Borg Queen.
Yes.
Is that
Yes.
what that was?
Yeah. If you compare the image of the face to how we then saw the Borg Queen in the final episode, the disfigurement on the right side of her face, it matches the.
Right. I would have liked to have seen more of the Borg and the changelings interacting with each other. Would have been awesome. But I didn't think we'd get that. I thought we got another resolution with Picard and the Borg, because I know that's an ongoing theme with him, and it's been sticking with him since TNG. So it was nice to see that resolution. I would have liked to have seen Moriarty as a villain in this series. Would have been
Rather
awesome.
than like the 2 seconds we got it with him.
Rather than the 2 seconds. It was in the trailer. So it's like in the trailer. It's like, oh, this is gonna be all you like in your head. It's like it to me it would have been like the Riddler against Batman sort of deal, with intellectual problems to solve. I would that's how I viewed what would happen between the two. Obviously we didn't get that. I'm wondering, does Jack still have his powers, or did they give him the transporter treatment?
I believe he probably got the transporter treatment as well. Yes.
They didn't say that though.
I mean, but how? I guess that's a good question, actually, because how would he have gotten the transporter treatment? Because Jack's, like, for everyone else, this is a reversion to their original genetic code. Jack's genetic code is what it is.
Right.
Like, all of that was actually built into Jack at a very base level. Now, I don't think and I don't think it would necessarily matter, because the beacon's real gone.
Yeah.
The beacon got Death Starred.
Yeah.
Like real hard. And everybody else has, I mean, for everybody else, they've now lost their receiving capability.
Yeah, the
With
beacon got Death Starred, and apparently the Borg did not assimilate uh, A New Hope. Their process of assimilation. Maybe the Star Wars just does not
I'd be
exist.
really careful, Jason, because somewhere J.J. Abrams is taking notes.
Yeah, you can't
Because if
trust
they
that guy.
had,
We're gonna get more lens flare and explosions, guaranteed.
I don't mind lens flare. It's pretty. It's a nice little. I've always enjoyed
Yeah,
it
no, I did. Hardcore.
in the films. It's
An
fast paced.
occasional
It's
lens
like
flare is fine. Once you start getting into double digits in a single scene, that's a problem.
The answer is never more lens flare.
Yeah.
Never.
that was the answer on that set. I'm pretty sure the answer was always more lens flare. You put that
Right, but he
with
was
some
wrong.
Michael Bay movements across the scene, a lot of pans. I used to watch Michael Bay films and like just count the amount of seconds in a shot, like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Like those action scenes were just the each shot was just so short, and J.J. Abrams sort of picked that up.
Mhm.
If you watch,
Yeah.
I have all kinds of opinions on that, but like that's not about Picard, so I'm gonna let that go.
it's cinema. It's all of it. It's the evolution of cinema. So
I am trying to not bring negativity into my life, so we're not gonna continue talking about Michael Bay.
okay,
Yeah.
got it.
Despite
Message.
despite the fact that we're getting a new Transformers movie, and part of me really wants to go see it.
Well,
Nah, I'm good.
that's
I know, that is the right answer, and yet
I'm good. And you're talking to a Transformers fan. I grew up with that. That was my shit. Like I literally lived for that to exist. Come home after school and watch that.
I too was traumatized by the death of Optimus Prime as a
Oh
child.
yeah.
In
Mhm.
fact, I think that was worse than the whole Bambi situation for me.
Bambi never bothered me.
Mhm.
I didn't cry at Bambi.
Bambi, Land Before Time, not as bad. Like,
Mm.
okay, I'll give Land Before Time, however, like the nod there, but definitely watching Optimus Prime die was hard.
So oh anyway, who else when maybe this wasn't the last episode, but when once they said that hey, all the ships are gonna form up together. Who all
Fleet
thought that was gonna
formation,
yeah,
Yes.
who knew that was a bad idea and that was gonna
literally everyone.
Yeah.
Literally everyone. From episode 1 when Riker was like, "This is some bullshit." Like,
right.
Yeah.
we knew this was I mean, everybody knew this was a bad idea.
Yeah, and when asked about it, Terry Matalas goes, "That just shows how high up in the Federation, in Starfleet, the changelings have gotten, that they
That's
were pushing
cute.
this whole thing."
Oh,
That's
that
cute.
that that is
Yeah.
true. That is
I,
true.
however, firmly believe in the stupidity of bureaucracies, and so I legitimately see somebody writing a white paper on that, and then a lackluster admiral being like, "This is how I make my name."
Yeah.
We saw some of this on Lower Decks.
Right.
Well, we saw that. We've seen that in every Star Trek this year. We saw that with the living construct in Prodigy. We saw that with the automated ships, the
In
Texas
Lower Decks.
class in Lower
Yep.
Decks. That was kind of a mistake on Kurtzman that he didn't make sure all of the seasons of Star Trek this year ended with some form of fleet automation and destruction.
Why have people then, right?
I mean, I don't think it would have worked in the Strange New Worlds context, though.
Yeah,
Like, I really don't.
but we had it
But
though.
we're about to see a whole
But,
pile of stupid come out of there too.
but we did see automation because remember Kirk took a shuttle and went and got those automated ships to be backup against the Romulans.
Yes.
So
Oh, and Strange New Worlds. Strange New Worlds.
yes,
Yeah.
every season finale included some sort of ship automation.
I feel like
Yeah,
Kurtzman's trying to tell us something.
Discovery had the same thing. Season 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, again,
Well, yeah, this is-
I
yeah.
feel like there's some real fear about this.
Yeah.
There's some sort of zeitgeist working on.
I will say this though. Somebody mentioned Star Wars like in the chat, and comparing Star Wars to Star Trek. Star Trek has actual stories of shit happening, which is a really dumbed down thing to say. Everything, of course, everything has stories of shit happening. But like Star Wars is like what's happening in this episode? Oh, they're fighting the Empire. Oh, who are they fighting in that episode? Oh, they're fighting the Empire. Oh, who are they fighting in this episode? Oh, they're fighting the Empire. It's like the same shit all the time. I love Star Trek because it really does have stories. Even with Picard, where it's just like his own. Picard has his own stories and with his own nemesis, um, and even his own stories and his own battle within himself. You know,
I mean, I like how close you're getting to the film title, of which we do not name.
That which should not be named.
Mm-hmm. That which did not happen.
But I'm just saying, I just as a whole, I just like that Star Trek always has like every single movie, you can say what happens and it's a great thing. Whereas in Star Wars, you can like every single movie, what's happening? Oh, they're fighting the Empire. What's happening in 4 through 6? Oh, this one guy's trying to get this other guy to join to the dark side. Oh, what's happening in 7 through 9? Oh, this one guy's trying to get this lady to join the dark side. Oh, what's happening in 1 through 3? Well, this one guy's trying to get this guy to join the dark side. And it's just like repetition of the same shit. It's just whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So kudos to Star Trek for actually having stories, character driven, different societies, different cultures, different politics, different enemies, different everything.
I mean, fair enough.
Right?
Fair enough.
I did read one article that did a comparison of the fact that both Mandalorian and Picard ended last week, and how there was the people that had some had thoughts on this season of Mandalorian and how it was quite different from previous seasons, and what was expected from the finale was much different from what actually happened, and it was actually a comparative of Picard with season 3 and particularly its finale succeeded in every way that Mandalorian failed. And of course, that's bringing some people out of the woodwork to say, no, Mandalorian's a triumph.
I haven't seen.
There were people that had some major problems with this season.
I've only seen like 5 episodes of Mandalorian so far.
I have not seen any of this season.
Too busy rewatching season 2 of Picard.
Because you apparently hate your life.
He's a masochist,
no.
That's all.
Well, okay. To put this on the table, I did not like DS9. Did not like that Star Trek at all, and I rewatched it. And
so did Star Trek Picard season 2 improve?
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. I love Star Trek because I'm just saying I owe it to myself to watch it again. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
It's my job.
Okay. I mean, if you too want to suffer, like you do, you.
Right.
I'm not gonna harsh your willingness to suffer, but I will not be going back.
I would not. I'll go back someday, but I've done my most recent rewatch before the start of this season. I don't need to go back for a little while now.
All right. So since this is actually the recap show,
yes,
we need to get back to season 3 of Picard.
Oh, sorry.
Well, it is interesting now. If you go back and rewatch some episodes, a lot of the things were very clearly spelled out, and we just didn't realize it. Like the one episode where Jack was having the hallucinations, like where he hallucinated shooting the crew. He steps into the transporter room and he sees the people beaming off, and they get attacked by the red vines.
The red vines, of course, being the Borg and the changeling alterations that were made through the transporter.
Right.
I think season 3 is one of those that's going to be worth a rewatch for exactly that reason, because I think this one is a much more tightly written season than we've seen. I would argue in all of New Trek, actually.
Yes.
Well, now that you know the ending, go back and watch through it and notice what you didn't notice the first time going through.
Right.
And didn't understand. Right. I wonder why they didn't use a green door instead of a red door.
Because I sort of feel like that would have given it away too early.
That and plus, where was the Borg cube hiding?
In the big red spot.
Nobody saw it. I don't know.
Well, once again, the changelings in Starfleet were keeping them from seeing it.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
We'll use that for everything.
That's the hand wave.
We'll use that for everything.
So from now on, like this era of Starfleet, we're all going to be like, this doesn't make sense. So changelings.
Yes.
It was interesting to see, like, the disparity of the Borg Queen. Like she's just sitting there. She's got no minions, no cubes, no nothing. So she's just festering on, and literally living off of the Borg that are on the
She was
ship.
terrifying.
Yeah, I wonder
She was
why they didn't make
terrifying.
it so ugly, but whatever.
Because she's being consumed as well. And that consumption isn't just this question of, consuming the organic parts in order to drive drive the inorganic elements. It's also this metaphor for the consumption of that kind of vengeance and what it does to you.
Mhm.
Which is one of the things I've really enjoyed actually about season 3 is it's very much like wrapped in metaphor. There's been a real attention paid to the symbolism, both visual and otherwise.
Mhm.
And it just shows you, I mean, at one point, I think in an interview, Ed Spaliers actually talks about how Terry Matalas envisioned this season of Picard as one, 10-hour long movie, just without the Bollywood dances that you would normally get in a 10-hour long movie. And I think he's right. I think that's one of the things that actually sets this particular season apart. Now, I'm not saying that this was actually that this is a flawlessly executed sequence, because I do think there are a number of things that get dropped and get dropped badly. And I certainly think there are moments where they don't take nearly as much advantage of Jack as they possibly could have, or even of legacy characters. Beverly Crusher. I'm sorry, something's lodged in my throat.
Yeah.
Was it Beverly Crusher?
It might be. Yeah. I am. I'm still I'm still mad about that. And I don't know if it's maybe just because I am a mom.
What mad about what though exactly?
Because so much of Beverly ends up taking a back seat a lot to this journey that Picard is going on. Again, I get it.
Right.
Picard is the eponymous character. I got that. But at the end of the day,
that's your son.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But you have to also understand that Picard is up here in the hierarchy. He's still, I mean, they have their sort of love affair, but he's still this like figure to her, this almost omnipotent person to her. So it's like to see
I don't think that's true at all.
You don't think so?
No,
I think so.
I think very just gleefully tell him to fuck the fuck right off. And did for 20 years.
Considering she lost her first son to space, and she talked about how she tried to keep Jack close. When you thought that when Jack needed to be kept even closer to her, that's when she let Picard handle it.
Right.
She held back.
And I get it. I mean, I certainly
weird
get. I certainly get the awkwardness of wanting your child's father to have a relationship with them, regardless of your own opinion.
Well, she felt guilty also.
Yeah. Yes.
A lot of guilt.
Yes. But like at the end of the day, though, like I don't care what kind of guilt. I'd have been in the room when we had a whole conversation about the fact that, hey, Jack, you're Borg.
I agree with that. Definitely.
And 2, like hell, I wouldn't have been on that Borg cube.
Yeah.
Going after my kid. And you cannot tell me that it wouldn't have made more sense to capitalize on this relationship that he's had with his mother in order to pull him out of the Borg collective.
Right.
But we all just kind of
his father he met 2 days ago.
Right.
So they're supposed to have this emotional connection to pull him out of this collective.
Now, I'm not saying that was not a beautiful sequence, because I really think it was really well put together.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, I'm just sitting there like, bro, this is literally some dude you didn't particularly like a week ago.
Right.
And he's, I mean, and also I get it. Like, I also get this, like the symbolism of having Picard go in, and as someone who was in this situation, being perfectly situated to pull him out. But again, the hell is mom?
Yeah.
Like I'm really struggling to let that go.
Oh, I mean, of course, there's the worry. I mean, Picard's got the synthetic body, so him plugging in, I guess there's a belief that with it being synthetic, it's easier for him to unplug, whereas Beverly wouldn't have had that same.
Except we had no idea that was even necessary.
Right.
So from Beverly's perspective, he's been like, he's like, you've held him this long. I'm going to go do this. And I'm going to be like, you have been wrong literally every episode.
Yeah.
How are you not going to fuck this up?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. She did sort of like stand back and really important moments
and there's this whole moment too where we have, the newly awakened Riker, right? Like who's now able to shed. I mean, I don't want to say shed, but who's now coping a little bit better with, the suffocating grief at the loss of Thad.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just good. I mean, and suddenly he's like, I want to see my wife again. We're going to ignore the fact that I have another child.
Don't just conveniently forget.
Right. She's chopped liver, obviously. But I'm going to ignore that, and I'm just going to fuck off and go after Picard. And
yeah, what's their kid doing?
Bye, hubby. Bye, wife. I'll see you in the promised land.
Well, I did think that it was a nice moment when Riker said that he would see her in the future with their son.
Well, it was a plot device. It was the convenient way that Deanna piloting the Enterprise to find them. If Riker hadn't gone, they wouldn't have had that plot device, because certainly she doesn't have that deep emotional connection with Worf.
No,
right. Though Worf thinks they do, but
or would like to have.
They do in another universe. They do.
Yeah, but I mean, but even then, like this is relegating Troy to her tried and true.
But so many
role
times,
of being a MacGuffin.
Yeah.
So many times Deanna is just like this superfluous figure. It's like everything's just like, Deanna, what do you think? He may be confused. I can't tell. Or it's just always like
it serves the plot for her not to be able to tell.
Right.
And then,
But now it's like it served the plot for her to actually, her powers to have purpose. And the connection between her and Riker had some purpose.
And God love both Gates McFadden and Marina Sirtis, right? Like, because they did so much with what they were given.
Mm-hmm.
But it was almost at the Berman level
of
treatment for those characters. And Picard has had, in all 3 seasons, a real problem with how it handles its female characters.
You think so with Seven and
Raffi?
I do.
And
I mean,
Agnes. Look what they did to Agnes.
And again, where the hell are the Brograti in all of this?
Yeah, they're doing their thing.
Yeah, that's just the thing. We'll just never know. Like,
doo-doo-doo, we're just sitting in this anomaly. Everything's falling around our ears, but doo-doo-doo.
One of the bad things about season 2 was that plot for the end of the show.
Well, that was the good thing about season 2, but
when that is your bar,
yeah,
this is why I'm not going back to watch season 2
hey,
ever.
I got a question. Do we ever see what the Borg eat, what they consume?
Yes,
they showed like the babies, right? I guess they consume.
Apparently, they eat technology,
alcove, right?
So if you distinctly recall, recall Brograti like chowing down on like some cellular phone components.
I mean, so my question is why she had to like consume her crew when they are powered by the ship, pretty much.
That was established early on that the dead, when the Borg die, they sort of get consumed by the others.
Oh, like the Matrix.
Like the Matrix, yeah.
Yes. Or Soylent Green or anything else.
Everything, pretty much.
Yeah.
Why don't we do that as humans?
We do.
Save so much food.
We don't talk about it.
They see Alive. I saw Alive. Movie playing.
And I was not expecting cannibalism this week. Like, I'm not gonna lie.
That was not on my bingo card. No.
Hey.
No. We're gonna go with like the South American soccer team, and then next thing it's gonna be the Donner Party. Yeah, uh-uh.
One thing though about Picard is every season has been about La Familia, about
Mhm.
family. I think has been the theme for every single one of them in some way. Even season one, in some way, was about family.
Well, the key thing about this season, and Maria and I were talking about this offline, of everything about this season that worked was against everything Sir Patrick Stewart wanted out of this series. When he was first approached by Kurtzman, he had three rules: no uniforms, no Enterprise, no, and pretty much no Starfleet. And
Really?
he did
Oh
not
yeah.
want it to be a continuation of the Next Generation. He wanted a new things. He wanted new people. He wanted a whole new experience. And just like how Picard was wrong in every episode of the Patrick Stewart was wrong about what this show needed to be.
Yeah.
Well, I think we all enjoyed seeing the Enterprise D
Yes.
pop on screen.
Carpets.
And, episode 9 was it?
Yes.
Oh, that was awesome. Seeing the Enterprise G, I was just like, I actually thought it was gonna be like the USS Picard when it was going up, but Enterprise G, I was just like, it's not the Enterprise though.
Well, but the thing is, that's our buy-in. That's another one. We got those two things at the end of the final episode that were saying, "Please give us Legacy." Here, it's the Enterprise G. That's your hero ship of Legacy, and then of course the post-credit scene of, "Hey, Q's back. Don't you want the Legacy so we can find out what Q's up to again?"
Yes.
That's a problem with Q being back, which would totally undermine season 2 again.
No.
Well, I don't know.
mean, it does,
Season 2,
but it doesn't.
Q was dying. First of all, season 2, Q was dying. We don't know if it was just the Q or it was all of Q, or was he dying or was he sick? Or there, you could think of it was how Picard perceived him or what he perceived of it, but there was obviously a problem with him even when Picard wasn't around. So there was an issue with Q. So the fact that he just pops up and
also we only have Q's word for him dying.
We did see him struggling with his powers.
Yeah, we did see that by himself.
Yeah, but again, look, there's a hand wave involved here, okay?
Yes.
And I really love the way they sort of did that with you're thinking too linearly.
Yes.
Yes.
Which is the same thing that happened with the Borg Queens. Like, wait, no, we killed you. It's like, oh, you're thinking so fourth-dimensionally.
Right. I love that we get Alice Krieg's voice for her.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
It was.
Although Edwina, whose name I can't remember because I'm blanking.
Edwina Beckenbowl
did a really great job physically.
Edwina Seymour.
Because I really do want to have a conversation about that costume, and if Picard does not get nominated for costume design or effects, somebody's just not paying attention.
There should be several technical Emmys coming their way for this season. There should be a couple acting nominations too, but technical Emmys definitely.
Yeah, but let's be real. I'm not expecting to see an acting Emmy.
What about Worf snoring? He's not going to get one for
that was great.
That was fantastic. And that's the other reason I want to see Legacy, because I really want Worf to just hitchhike on the Enterprise G whenever the hell he feels like it.
Yep.
Because that would be amazing. The chemistry between Michelle Hurd and Michael Dorn was phenomenal.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Absolutely fantastic.
And with Riker, I thought. Between Worf and Riker.
Yeah, but I really like the Raffi sequences a whole lot better.
The thing about the Riker and Worf sequences we had was it was like in opposition to how it was in Next Generation. We had the way they played off of each other in TNG, and Riker even called it out immediately. He used to fight back. Why don't you fight back?
Right.
The fact that this is a different Worf, and this is a different Riker, but when he was around Worf, he tried to be old Riker again. And Worf is like, no, I'm not that guy anymore. So.
Worf is like, I used my time to grow. You made pizza.
Yeah.
badly.
Yep.
You know, which I think is a really good kind of conversation, because that is a subplot I wish we'd done more with. Now, don't get me wrong. I want to say was it episode 6 where we get that phenomenal conversation aboard the Shrike between Riker and Deanna?
Maybe
No.
5 or 6.
No, it was later than that. It was episode 8. They weren't in episode 7
Yeah.
at all.
Okay. But I mean, that was a wonderful, wonderful sequence. And it led, and it, you know, it's one of those moments where we tend to forget, I think, about what kind of range Marina Sirtis actually has.
Yeah.
Because so much of what she did as Troy for so long didn't capitalize on it.
Mhm.
I would argue probably until season 7.
Yeah.
Then we start getting much better, much more interesting Troy
Once you got
episodes.
the uniform. Once you get the uniform.
Basically,
Right.
Jellicoe put her in the uniform. Yeah, she
Put her in a uniform, remind us that she's competent.
Yeah.
You know? And, you know, we got a little bit of that in season 1, right? Where, you know, she's more or less calling everybody out on their bullshit on Nepenthe, but there's still not enough of that. We get a much more nuanced version of that when she's calling Riker out on his nonsense.
Well, what's great about what they did with that, they did in episode 8 with them talking about how she kind of took the pain away from Riker and from Kester as well, and held it all herself. When you see how mad she was in Nepenthe in season 1, and like she, as soon as she sees that Soji exists, she's like seething, and you kind of get that now more, knowing how she is trying to take the pain of her loved ones away, and so she's
while dealing
really
with it herself.
Yeah, so she's feeling it in triplicate there, and then seeing this embodiment of the thing that could have saved their son's life. Yeah,
Which that was a thing.
yeah, yeah.
we're just gonna hand wave that.
Hand wave.
I kind of felt like it was so weird how like Vadic was this prominent villain and then she just disappeared. And they had this huge weapon. Like they introduced this weapon.
And it goes nowhere. It
They
Teleportation
just
weapon.
eject it, and
Yeah,
right.
it's just gone. And like Vadic's just sucked out into space.
Yeah, and for how useful that weapon was, but they had to create it, but then it had to be gone. Otherwise, they could have never destroyed the Shrike. They would have just kept on.
I know. And let's talk about how much buildup there was for the portal gun.
Yep.
How much buildup? Because that was most of the Raffian Wharf plot.
Right.
Yep.
He was trying to track down this portal gun that gets like 3 uses in the nebula, and then becomes plotifully inconvenient. And then if I may make up words now.
That was for them to find out to go. They said, okay, that was just that whole portal gun was a distraction for something else.
Right.
They found,
and it was Picard's corpse again.
Yeah.
So much grave robbing.
How is that
in this episode? In this movie or this season?
Yeah. How is that a distraction from Picard's corpse? And I don't even get.
Yeah, whoever is running that station, the
Daystrom station, I kind of want to talk to them.
You notice the portal weapon is gone, but you don't notice Picard's corpse is gone.
Right? I mean,
it's kind of weird. Like I don't understand it as a plot at all.
Yeah.
I mean, okay. I've spent some time in archives, not as much as Keith, obviously, but like I've spent some time in archives. And some of the weirder shit in your collection frequently gets shoved into weird corners.
Yes.
Right. And you're literally like going about your business, trying to file something, and then all of a sudden a halberd like falls on you. Not saying that's happened to me, but I'm also not saying that it's happened to me. And I kind of feel like maybe Picard's corpse was there because like the people who are like at Daystrom Station are like, why do we have all these fucking bodies? What are we supposed to do with this?
And it's kind of like, oh my god, they stole this. It's a super secret weapon. Should we check to see if they stole something else? Weapon.
Exactly. Exactly.
Right.
So I'm willing to give Daystrom Institute or Daystrom Station like a pass on that one a little bit.
I just don't see that as a good plot. Like I don't see how them stealing this is supposed to distract from this other thing at all.
Well, no, it does make sense when you think about like, okay, if like anytime you see things where like there's an art museum that's robbed, the thing that gets the press is the big item that got taken. If something small
Usually
got
gold.
taken, yes,
Right.
like,
The shinier the better, man. Like
yeah. Like you could steal the Hope Diamond from the Smithsonian, but you also steal some Mastodon tusk with original Mastodon DNA that you're going to use to try to bring back the Mastodons.
And everybody and his dog is going to be like, but the diamond!
Exactly. Everyone is focusing on the diamond, the shiny
Well,
bit.
I don't think that DNA can survive 60 million years of decay.
We're also hand waving like 90% of the science in this season. All right,
Yes,
so like
yeah.
hand wave that shit, Jason.
So okay, wait. So why they need Picard's body? Because what was done was already done with Jack.
No,
No.
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 They got Picard's body, excised the Borg DNA, and then used that to program the transporters.
Okay.
They needed Jack to be the transmitter.
Yes.
Because that DNA was dormant until Jack was plugged in to the
so what happened if Jack never opened the door? Deanna never said open the door.
He didn't need to open the door.
Obviously, because that was the episode we did Jack dirty.
Yes.
Him opening the door was what propelled him into going to the Borg.
Except he didn't open the door.
No. Him opening first of all, he didn't open the door.
That was Deanna
did, but them telling him
what propelled him was Picard telling him that
he was Borg.
That he was Borg, and then here's the two burly 24-year-old security guys behind the door.
Right, but I'm saying is that wouldn't be set into motion if Deanna hadn't opened the door. If the door wasn't opened.
I actually suspect that the use of the transporter is kind of what's activated what was going on in Jack's brain. Because you cannot tell me that Beverly Crusher was not scanning the shit out of her kid.
Oh, yeah. Sure.
Right? I mean, I don't think she was always doing it, but I don't think she would have not noticed something significant like Irmotic syndrome.
Kind of like 5G causes COVID.
I don't even know what to say to that. I'm just gonna keep drinking.
I am out of things to drink.
That's all right. I've got vodka, lemonade, and lavender. It's great.
You eat lavender?
I do.
But it's supposed to smell lavender.
So, one thing that's funny is when they first introduced the idea of the Irmotic syndrome back in All Good Things, I thought I heard them say that this was a result of his time with the Borg, that this thing manifested.
I mean, I have great faith in your ability to remember more things than I do, but I don't remember that.
I've gone back and checked, and no, it doesn't. But I could have sworn that
because I really thought this was an organic issue.
Yeah,
with him, because the problem is even back in All Good Things, they would not have had either the knowledge or the technology to have been able to identify what was really going on with the architecture in Picard's brain.
Right, and even though he had examinations, it wasn't until he asked Beverly to specifically look for the signs of Irmotic syndrome when he was in the Prime timeline
that he really picks it up.
But I could have sworn there was an implication that it was something left over from the Borg, and which is what ended up happening. But I believe that in 1994. So,
so obviously you were paying attention.
Yes.
I don't know. I really thought that what was interesting about that is just this idea that after everything Picard has done, that there's just an element of his biology that's going to fail him. And I thought that was such an interesting concept for him to confront. Right. Because even in the 24th century, we're still dealing with certain ways in which our bodies can break down and fail us, and it's not anybody's fault.
Yeah.
It's just a bad roll of the dice, and to introduce something like that
Some
in
people it's way earlier, but it happens.
well, no, but like to introduce something like that as a concept in a franchise where medicine is roughly akin to magic.
Right.
Yeah, you put the broken bone under the blue light and it's fixed.
Yeah. Yeah. You have a transporter that transport babies.
Yep.
Right?
First of all, if you have a transporter, you should be able to fix it. Just about anything.
You
But that's a
think.
different. That's a different.
That's one of the hand wavies.
That's our hand waves.
What,
Right.
you've been stricken in a virus that's turning you old, transporter.
Right.
Right. But I mean, again, I remember thinking like back in, the oldie days that was really kind of an interesting concept, because it's a great way for Picard not only to explore his own mortality and his own fragility while he's also facing the potential failure of humanity to move beyond Earth.
Yeah.
Was a really kind of interesting juxtaposition. I guess we really all should have known that Ironic Syndrome was going to come up again, based on season 1.
Yeah. Well, it had to come up by following the timeline, because season 1 Picard is supposed to be the same time as the flash forward future timeline of All Good Things. So knowing that he had it then, the fact that we are now dealing with it at the same time, it had to come up. Otherwise, it would have been the major thing hanging over the whole series. And then, of course, it ended up being that.
It ended up being the major thing that hung. I mean, that even gets passed on to Jack, who must be surely relieved that his brain is not going to spontaneously combust.
Yeah. Still, to think that he went through years of having those images of the Borg in his head, and Beverly was like, "Yeah, I was worried about those, but."
Well, that's one of my problems with season 2 as well, is because I feel like they give Picard so much trauma to deal with already, and it's like, this mom thing was just killing me.
Well, that was Patrick Stewart wanting to have a deep dive into how women are treated in relationships, and something that he.
Well, that didn't work either, because she wasn't treated badly. She was crazy.
Right.
It undermines everything about abuse. It's like, it undermines everything about abusive.
Yeah, but I mean, not only was his mother, had this whole questionable thing, but like the rest of the season is about basically shucking its female characters, everybody from Renee Picard to future or past Laris.
Yeah.
I don't even get
Alan.
I don't even understand why they put that. Why Laris was there in the 21st century. That wasn't Laris. Like,
it's strictly so that Picard, she could die, and Picard could be like, "Oh, I really like my Laris, so I'm gonna go back and tap that." Because obviously, past Laris is interchangeable with current Laris, because women are fungible commodities in Picard.
Stupid.
Yeah, that was not great. That was not great. And that is.
You pick up and leave that woman in a second. When I was saying goodbye.
I know, right? I mean, and again, like we talked about this last week, right?
Ow.
Like, I mean, at no point do we hear anything about Laris. Did Laris? I mean, was that whole situation with her going off to do her thing and him going off to do his thing? Was that her breaking up with him? Like,
if they weren't supposed to go together, and there are some great memes of her waiting on Chowtok 4 for him. Like, where is that fucker?
I know, because
like even there was a poster for poor number 1 abandoned by his owner.
It's just like, what is going on with that? You don't spend an entire season trying to convince me that he needs a romantic connection and then supplant it with a kid.
Right.
That
And
says
that
that says really awkward things.
Yeah. Well, at least she didn't turn out to be a fembot all along and explode in the opening minutes of season 3.
that would have been funny though. It would have been awesome.
No.
I would have liked that.
I've seen Orla Brady turned into a Dalek. I don't need to see her turned into a fembot.
Oh, she got turned into a Dalek?
Yes. The Time of the Doctor, the final episode of Matt
Oh.
Smith's, she was the head of the church.
I hate the Daleks.
And she overpowered the Dalek. That's just how awesome Orla Brady is.
I mean, I think she's been fucking fantastic. And I really would feel like we got cheated by the fact that when Laris and Dr. Crusher never got to meet each other.
Oh,
Could you imagine?
She should have been in that shuttle in the final.
She should have.
1 year later, she should have been there, and it was a case of her not being available. But still, she should have been there.
That would have been.
Or at least
that would have
somebody
been
should
great
have. I mean,
to
even
have.
if she wasn't available, right? And I get it because she has a legitimate storied career over in the UK.
Yes.
Maybe just a nod.
It would have been great to have her on the ship with
Just an observation. Yeah,
And-
Laris would love to be here, but she was, I don't know, unfucking some major diplomatic security event. Like, I mean,
or at least Beverly have the question, Laris, who's Laris, and then have to be a
she's the
close friend of
squeeze.
mine.
Yeah.
She's
Picard
the
can get
squeeze.
all those uncomfortable British noises trying to explain who Laris is. Yes.
Oh, that would have been amazing.
Yeah,
Like, I feel cheated now. Like, even
Yeah.
more than I did.
act like she didn't even exist.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
and again, like we've mentioned before, Kestra just sort of gets hand waved
Yep.
away. Like,
And
Riker's completely comfortable. I mean, just basically saying goodbye to his wife and child to go rescue crusty old Picard.
He probably said goodbye though.
Not to Kestra.
Not to Kestra.
Oh, maybe not to Kestra.
Now, I mean, and don't get me wrong, I really enjoyed this season, and I really enjoyed this final episode, despite my quibbles. And I don't think they're minor. I actually think they're pretty major because it basically points a little bit to some continued problems with how women are treated in Trek.
Mhm.
Well, there's no more soft focus, so we at least evolved beyond that.
Which is nice.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's like, look, we can see their faces. You know.
Yes, and they're not required to wear the short skirt anymore.
No.
Right? They're able to be badasses. Like, I mean, admittedly, Beverly does manage to blow shit up in a major way, which is great.
But
But
then they then turned it into a joke of, how did you do that?
right, and that's kind of, I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it was a great ending for Picard.
Yes.
Everybody keeps talking about how it's a wonderful send off for the TNG cast.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was a great send off for Picard. I don't think it was a great send off for all of the members of the TNG cast.
Well,
We
got to see them. I guess maybe it was a good send off for us as viewers because we got to see all of them on the bridge again, them working together, everybody doing their jobs.
And I am still a little messed up now by the fact that I'm never going to see that again.
Right. You know?
But we had thought we had never going to see it again after the movie.
I know. You know, like that movie that never shall be named.
Yeah. When you think of who, I mean, basically Beverly and Geordi were turned into almost non-existent characters in all of the TNG movies.
Yes.
Yeah.
That they got, Beverly definitely got some moments in this season that she deserved, could have used more. Geordi got some excellent moments. Although
Geordi's mad dad energy, though.
Yeah, Geordi got to be a dad. You know, and then the moment when they're like,
y'all, he's dad goals.
Yeah.
When he first found out about Jack, he's like, Jean-Luc, only you having a kid could become an international incident.
Right.
Or, you know,
an intergalactic incident. He's not wrong.
So is Jack
not
will
wrong.
you see Jack again, you think? If they were,
I really hope so. And this is actually a great
Q as
segue.
well, I guess.
this is actually a great segue into the news. And I kind of want to start with Legacy and the petition. Keith?
That's the top of my news list.
You
Yeah.
don't say!
Was that a tambourine? What is that?
I think that was my face, but
No, you were shaking something.
It's a phone.
Oh, I thought I heard something. Say, I'm speaking, yo.
It's an iPhone. Okay.
I mean,
the magic number as of yesterday is 35,000. That's how many signatures, including myself and my cousin Alex, who have signed a petition to create Legacy with Terry Metalis as showrunner. The petition on change.org was put together by the Popcast. It's got the blessing of Metalis and pretty much every cast member you can think of, including Todd Stashwick, who says, they will find a way to have me back. And one of the ideas that was pitched out there is having Seven say, activate the EDH, the emergency dipshit hologram. And then
yes.
up here.
starring whom?
Starring Jerry Ryan. You'll be starring Jerry Ryan, Michelle Hurd, and Ed Spaliers as your top 3 cast. And then,
with,
of course,
hopefully Ashley Sharp Chestnut reprising her role as Sydney LaForge.
Well, and as well as having Micah Burton show up as Alondra LaForge, and then, of course, Lieutenant Hura and all the other women on the other remaining bridge crew, both of them.
I need Deli Counter Guy to come back.
Yes. Well, he could be the Neelix of the show, except
right. I need him. I need him to come back because that was phenomenal.
They need an EMH on the show.
That's Stashwick.
I don't really know that I need Shaw's bedside manner, guys.
Yeah.
I just don't think so. But no, I think Legacy would be a great idea. And backdoor pilots have a long and storied history in Star Trek. I mean, Assignment Earth, anybody?
Yeah.
Well, we got Section 31, so we have that.
Right.
Yeah, but I still want me some Legacy. I still need another Enterprise.
Yeah. Well, especially since I found out a key detail about there was a plan in what would have been in season 5 of Enterprise if it had happened. There was a conversation between Manny Kodo and Mr. Russell T. Davies about having the first season of The Return of Doctor Who crossing over with the 5th season of Enterprise, where they would have had Christopher Eccleston and Billy Piper showing up and meeting with Jonathan Archer. But Enterprise was canceled.
Oh, wow. That'd have been crazy.
I really feel like that sounds like fanfic.
I'd like to see.
I really feel like it sounds like fanfic.
Well, this was Russell T. Davies is now in charge of Doctor Who once again, and he was interviewed about things that he wanted to do when he was first in charge and then he never got to do, and he talked about having the Star Trek crossover, which almost happened, except Enterprise got canceled.
I wouldn't mind seeing Archer again.
Yep. That's one of the rumors for one of the possible movies. Now they're going to be putting out a special movie event every 2 years that they could do the Archer story of him, the foundation of the Federation and him becoming Federation president and all that.
I am definitely an Enterprise fan. I love Enterprise.
All right, moving on in the news list.
Well done, Keith.
Star Trek Resurgence, the new video game that was previewed by a 5-part comic series, went through its final submission this week, and they announced its release date, May 23rd, for Epic Games, Xbox, and PlayStation. Now, it's funny because originally they said that we expect to release the game in May 2023, to which people said, oh, so it's coming out May 23rd. I'm like, no, May 2023. And then when they finally did announce the date, it was May 23rd. I thought you were going to put the petition up there.
I would, but the petition link is incredibly long. So I'm going to invite everybody to check out our Facebook. And if you want, join our Discord, because you will find that information there. And if I can convince somebody with more God powers than I have, we'll add it to the description below.
It was announced this week that Lakeshore Records is releasing Season 1 of Strange New Worlds soundtrack on April 28th. Composer Nami Melamed put the work together, and they are releasing it now, timed for the release of season 2 coming up in June. Also out this week, Lower Decks season 3 now available on Blu-ray in the United States.
People still have Blu-ray?
I do.
Mm.
Announced today, Sir Patrick Stewart has written his memoir, Making It So, which will be released worldwide October 3rd by Simon & Schuster, the publisher of all things Trek. The memoir revisits his life from his earliest memories and through his illuminating journey on a life lived beyond his expectations. Pre-order today, $35 hardcover, $16.99 ebook, or $43.28 as an audio CD. XO6 announced a new line of 1/6 size action figures from their Picard, First Contact, and Voyager lines. Soon you will be able to get Admiral Picard from Picard, Vadic, and Captain Worf. From the First Contact line, you get EV Suit Worf, and from the Voyager line, you get Forever Ensign Harry Kim.
Forever Ensign.
Funko Games announced a new tabletop board game, Star Trek Cryptic, where players climb the ranks of Starfleet and explore strange new worlds in a puzzle-filled, action-packed escape room-style game. Available this June for $34.99, rated ages 10+. Apparently, as part of the game, they actually give you a pad, and you have to go through the pad instructions in order to figure your way out of the escape room.
Oh, so this is actually a escape room you go to, like those.
No, it's a tabletop game.
It's a board game.
Oh, board game. Okay.
Will Wheaton will definitely be playing this from now for the rest of time.
That would be awesome if it was like an actual escape room that you go to.
I'm sure that someone will probably come up with that.
I'm not gonna lie, I got a real charge about being able to give Will Wheaton a D20. I'm that kind of nerd.
Playmates Toys is finally releasing its first Prodigy toys. Dow & Murph, Gwyn, Zero, and Jenkin Pog will be available the next couple of weeks. Hologram Janeway and Rock Talk are still delayed, but can be pre-ordered.
What about a ship? No ship?
No ship yet. No Protostar yet. Hallmark has announced its 2023 Star Trek Christmas ornaments.
I am all over this.
Picard and Scotty from the episode Relics. Data holding Spot and playing the poem Ode to Spot when pressed.
I will not be putting the batteries in that.
A 2-pack of Badgie from Lower Decks. The giant green hand from Who Mourns for Adonais. A miniature Captain.
Special effects of the day.
Yes. A miniature Kirk and TOS Enterprise, and then a tabletop Enterprise orbiting a planet that glows and plays sounds from 5 different episodes. All will be available between this summer and fall, just in time for the holiday season.
I really love that Hallmark has recognized that nerds have money.
Okay.
Right.
Well, it's been a consistent thing for years. I have from the late 90s the Star Trek. The only one they put out that year was the ship collection. So I have the Enterprise D, a Bird of Prey, and I think a Romulan ship, just the miniature little one. So
we are not going to talk about my convention-specific limited release ornaments.
Okay, then.
I have a problem.
At least you acknowledge that you have the problem. That's the first
they just don't make a 12-step program for like Hallmark Star Trek ornaments.
They might. You just have to look around for it.
I just got like 15 Eagle Moss ships.
Oh, have you been ordering the new ones?
No, I don't have anywhere to put them. Gotta buy a new house.
I did. I ordered the Defiant. It's coming. It should be here any day now. So
I didn't realize the Defiant was an option.
Yeah,
I have a Defiant.
Weeks ago.
I have a Defiant.
Do we think there are any left?
Check masterreplica.com. You should be able to find out. I think those are probably gone though. But I got my USS Nog and I got my Defiant, so that covers.
I knew about the USS Nog because you talked about it.
Yeah,
I've got Discovery. I've got some nice. I got some ships that I like. That way.
Speaking of ships, Horner Shipyards, which makes 3D printed model ship kits, has added the Neo Constitution class ship with a choice of getting the Titan A or Enterprise G decals. The 40-centimeter long model comes in 44 parts for $160. So
44
if you have
parts?
Yes, 44 plastic parts to assemble your own Titan A or Enterprise G. Then finally on the new list, Takei Reynolds, a self-titled Volcartist, has a Kickstarter campaign ending on Sunday to create unofficial Vulcan tarot cards. Her goal is $7,000, and she currently sits at 4,000 as of Wednesday. Each design was painted by Reynolds, who started this project in 2015 after becoming enamored with the Vulcan language. The major arcana are complete, and her project shows off the High Priestess, Ace of Lurpas, Two of Lurpas, Hanged Man, and Temperance designs. Pledge at $45 to get one deck of cards if she reach her $7,000 goal by Sunday.
Part of me wants one of those, but part of me is also like, the Vulcans would have no part of this.
I'm sure that there are probably some Vulcans, like the Cybok contingent, that would.
I was about to say this is a Cybok thing.
Yeah.
These are the card decks that they secretly smuggle around that Vulcan prison.
Yes. All right, and that should be it for all the news from this past week. Stuff was just popping up all over the place.
And yes, you are correct. The Defiant is sold out. Much to my eternal grief.
You want to borrow mine?
I mean, yes. You would never get it back. Let's be real.
Borrow.
I may or may not be ordering a piece of furniture so that I can like display all of my Trek memorabilia in it.
Yeah, they got these like nice little like just shelving units that just fit in the corner. Think about getting one of those. They don't take up a lot of space. It's just right there in the corner.
Put a
corner
rig
somewhere in the room. Yep. It'll fit.
Yep. I spent a significant portion of my afternoon clearing out some space, and I'm looking around going, what could I possibly do with this extra space? Obviously, I need to add more nerd stuff.
I was going to say about Picard. I forget. Oh, one thing that, going back to Picard, that we didn't get to see a lot of is like what's happening in the alpha and beta quadrants.
I mean, mostly fleet formation.
Mostly fleet formation. I mean, but that's what like I was talking about that before. That's what we get in Star Trek. We get to see how all these worlds are coexisting with each other and how Starfleet's coexisting with them, or Earth basically. But we don't get any of that in Picard, and I hope that we get to see more of that in the new shows that are coming up, so we can see what the politics of the galaxy are again.
All right, folks, everybody go out, find the change.org petition for Legacy, because we need more lesbians in space.
We're already surpassed the number of signatures they needed to make Strange New Worlds a thing. So we need way more to get Legacy to happen, because I don't know.
Because it's a female captain, obviously.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there's that.
Yeah, we're losing one show with a female captain. We need another show with a female captain. And if it's Jerry Ryan, all the better.
Right. And that would let us finally find out what exactly her catchphrase was going to be.
Oh, yes.
Comply.
All right,
I wish I saw a little bit more of Borg in her.
That would work, actually.
Right. All right, folks. So that is our pseudo Picard season 3 retrospective that went all kinds of places. That's my bad. But
leave your thoughts in the comments below.
Please do give us some inspiration. We are going to be needing some of that come here next week.
We have 7 weeks until Strange New Worlds comes out.
So as always, like, subscribe, comment, let us know what you think. Let us know what you'd like to see. And hopefully we'll see you at same bat time, same bat channel next week. Yeah.
See ya.
Hey, bean footage it is.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm not gonna ever say it on the internet. Yeah, never. yeah.
I'm sorry. Wait. There was a shadow of a church.
Okay. What?
William has questionable ideas about what he puts. William has questionable ideas about what he puts on the internet.
Oh, I remember that episode.
Uh-huh.
I remember that episode. Yeah. Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
There you go.